Welcome back to Never Did It. I am Jake Ziegler. I'm here with Brad Garoon. On Never Did It, we look back at the last 100 plus years of movie history in an effort to fill in some of our own movie blind spots. Today, we're actually having a very special episode. It's our second annual Never Did It Awards, or the Niddies, as they're affectionately known throughout the film community. Brad and I are here with Professor Jeff Richardson, a frequent guest of ours, and he's going to help us give out these awards for the best films and performances of 2025. Just a little information on how we do these. Everyone who's been a guest on our show or a contributor to our show in any of our 3 seasons are sent a ballot to vote, and then we get the nominees, and then everyone gets a chance to vote on the nominees as well. And we do a ranked choice system, so we feel like we end up with the most accurate winners that way.
As long as the ranked choice machine is working, because
yes,
I looked at it and thought, well, there's just no way. It was going to be like a La La Land Moonlight situation.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that doesn't make you feel nitty.
Not feeling very nitty, no.
No, but let's feel nitty. There are a few awards that we did not run through last year when we did our first annual Nitties. One of the categories was Best Documentary, and nobody voted. Nobody gave us any nominees. Nobody voted on those on the nominees that Jake gave because he watches a lot of documentaries. So we removed that from our lineup this year, although Jake is going to do it as a special category. And we have a few other special categories that we thought we'd throw in too. The first of which being Best Stunts. And we're doing this in honor of the fact that the Oscars will be doing a Best Stunt Coordination category. And we had a lot of thoughts about what could be included in Best Stunts. I think our list was something like 10 to 15 movies.
Yeah, we had a lot.
Yeah, basically any movie that had any action whatsoever made it into our consideration. We wound up with the following nominees. The nominees are Marty Supreme, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, One Battle After Another, Predator: Badlands, and The Running Man. I have to say, when we nominated Predator: Badlands, which I liked a lot, I think it's a very fun movie. I was like, can we nominate Predator Killer of Killers? Which makes no sense because it's animated. Nobody performed a single stunt on that movie, but it is a cooler action movie, I think, than Predator Badlands, which I like to begin with. The winner, kind of obvious, kind of a no-brainer. Look, I'll say all of these 5 movies had amazing stunts. Marty Supreme, surprisingly so. But the winner is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I think for Jake and I, largely because of the submarine sequence, which is just absolutely one of the most claustrophobic and incredible action scenes I've ever seen in a movie. So congratulations to Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. Jeff, did you see this one?
I still haven't. I saw the first one, which I like the Mission Impossible movies. I meant to see it. I would shout out F1, which I don't know. You probably had it on your long list. Which
we didn't.
You didn't.
We didn't.
Oh, interesting.
Long list.
Yeah, because I thought that was one of the more sort of visceral movie experiences of my year, sort of in the theater. I mean, it's a very cliche movie and story, but it still was a blast. I mean, it was really ultimately it's one of my favorite 15 movies of the year because it was just so much fun. And I'm curious, the Oscars, it's got to be one of those categories when they do this that they're going to have the particular group vote on the nominees, right? Before it gets to the wider body. I know they do that for a lot of the technical ones. Because to me, it's like, how do you know? Like, I don't really know how much of F1 was stunts versus special effects. You know, it's all kind of a vague thing to me. So I'm just kind of curious how they're going to handle that in the future. But I'm assuming there was a lot of really cool stunt work.
It's a great question, especially given like my Predator Killers of Killers comment. Like, how much of it was a cartoon and how much of it was done in real life? And you could ask that of like James Cameron, like Avatar: Fire and Ash, which now I kind of feel bad was also not on our long list here. That's actually the only thing that's good about Avatar 3 is that it's amazing set pieces. And they do notoriously have real people performing a lot of that action, but how much of it is a cartoon? And I also maintain that the Avatar movies are animated films.
I agree with that, yeah.
I think it's not animated. I think it's a hybrid. To say it's the same thing as Zootopia 2, I think is categorically false.
There's a spectrum, right?
And rotoscoping, isn't it just kind of like fancy rotoscoping?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
So like, I would say it's the same thing as like Princess Iron Fan that we watched from the 1930s. Mm-hmm. And that's absolutely.
Or Waking Life. Yeah, or like Waking Life. I mean, that's a similar, like I said, I mean, I'm not saying it's not, but like I said, if we're just comparing, saying it's animated like any other animated movie, like no, Avatar and Kung Fu Panda are not made the same.
There are many different ways to animate a movie. I think if you say so, and I saw someone make this argument that if you are going to be dogmatic about what is an animated movie, then you cannot call The Nightmare Before Christmas an animated movie because those are real things that people are manipulating.
Yeah.
It is definitely made through the art of animation, which is creating the illusion of movement through stills. But then So is all movies. All movies are just filled. So,
Oh my gosh.
Really going down the
Now-
rabbit hole here, yeah.
Yeah, we really are.
But, well, speaking of animated movies, though, why don't let's do our Animated Feature Award. Let's do that one next. Best Animated Feature Film this year, we have Pixar's Elio, Netflix and Sony's K-pop Demon Hunters, the most successful film to come out of China, Ne Zha 2. We have 100 Meters, and Disney's sequel, Zootopia 2. And the winner of this one is K-pop Demon Hunters, with the earworm song that just will not go away, and I'm okay with that. I really like the song and the music, and I like the movie. In fact, I like all 5 of these movies that we nominated.
I'm really sad Ne Zha 2 didn't win, and also couldn't win because just not enough people saw it.
Nobody saw it, yeah.
Jake, you have a great story about how I don't know if this made it onto the podcast or not, but you went to the theater and it was like the 5th showing and you were the first person who'd seen it.
I think it was the 3rd, yeah, because I went Saturday afternoon, so I think it was like the 3rd showing. They had done like 2 showings on Friday, and then I went to the first one on Saturday. It was like it was the 3rd one, and I was the first person, who had bought a ticket to see that movie. And I might have been the only person to buy it. I love that they tried so much, but it just, nobody in Elk Rapids went to it.
Yeah.
Did you see Ne Zha?
I'm embarrassed that my animation ballot was blank because I didn't see a single animated film from 2025.
And your favorite movie of 2024 was an animated movie.
Yeah, Flow was my favorite of 2024, and I will eventually probably see some of these. I'm so behind on some of the other stuff that I just don't prioritize it. So
Right. I thought K-pop Demon Hunters was all right. My favorite animated movie of the year was Ne Zha 2, which wasn't just the most successful movie out of China. It was the highest grossing movie of 2025. Avatar 3 may catch up to it, but I don't think it will. And it's the highest grossing animated movie of all time.
And it's a rare sequel that just blows the first movie out of the water. The first movie is not that good, and this sequel is incredible.
I agree, 100%.
I think you guys said this on a previous one of your animation episodes, but I don't have to watch the original, right? I mean, I can pretty much just watch the sequel and they'll tell me what I need to know.
Exactly.
It tells you in like 30 seconds everything from the first movie you need to know, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing you're missing from the first movie is like a handful of booger jokes. It's not important. The second movie looks so much better, is so much more compelling, is like one of the craziest action movies you'll ever see. It's really wild, and also still has a few booger and fart jokes. So, it's not without those. And I also like all the movies that I've seen on this list. 100 Meters, I'm really glad made the list because a lot of people haven't seen it. It's on Netflix now, so you can see it if you want. And on YouTube, streaming on YouTube now, is another Chinese animated movie that got some festival play, a movie called Nobody, which I've talked about. I'm not sure if my review of it, which is only like 2 minutes long, has dropped on YouTube yet by the time this comes out. Well worth checking out. Nobody, and it's got some subtitle like Little Pig Demon on Landland Mountain. It's really fun, really funny, really sweet. But this was a weak year for animation, as we'll see in another upcoming category that we have, compared to last year, especially where you had like The Wild Robot and Flow.
The animated slate this year was a lot of good and very good, but very few like outstanding. Ne Zha, I think, kind of stood out above the rest, and Zootopia 2 was a pleasant surprise where I thought it was much better than I had expected going in. But yeah, it was not I would say it was a good year for animation, but not like a great or exceptional one.
Totally. And most of the good movies came from outside the United States, which happens a lot. Arco, which didn't make it to a nomination, Little Amelie, which I wasn't so high on, but most people are, 100 Meters. And then you had like the huge breakouts from Japan, Demon Slayer and Chainsaw Man. Mm-hmm. Which are a little bit less accessible because they're spin-offs of animes, but both reportedly very good. So, lots of, like you said, good, but really nothing on the level of Flow or the year before that, or maybe 2 years before that, Robot Dreams.
Spider-Man, the Spider-Man sequel, and Nimona,
Well, yeah. Solid. Next year, we'll see.
All right. Best actor in a supporting role. Yeah. Miles Catton, Sinners. Benicio del Toro, One Battle After Another. Ralph Fiennes, 28 Years Later, Sean Penn, One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård in Sentimental Value. So, looks like the winner is going to be, I love this performance, Benicio del Toro in One Battle After Another. Over his co-star Sean Penn gets the win. So that's exciting. I loved that movie, and I love Benicio in that.
That was one of the less competitive categories, not the least competitive category. That's still coming up. But I do think that part of it is probably what's going to happen at the Oscars too, is people who were voting high for Penn tended to not vote or voting high for Del Toro tended to not vote as high for Penn, which is another like outstanding performance. And then the Ralph Fiennes one is interesting. And Jeff, when you got your ballot in, I believe, And you put Ray Fiennes in it, didn't
I
you?
believe I had Ray Fiennes 1 and Benicio 2. Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, there's an opportunity for Ray Fiennes here. And I redid my ballot to make sure Ray Fiennes got a spot in the nomination at the expense of folks in movies that I actually liked more than 28 Years Later. But I do love Ray Fiennes' performance. And for me, it was colored a little bit because I've seen now The Bone Temple, which is such an amazing and so much more centered on Fiennes and such an amazing turn from him playing the same character.
He's so good in The Bone Temple. I mean, that's 2026, but like, man, just give that guy an Oscar. He doesn't have an Oscar, right? I mean,
he's been nominated twice.
Yeah. Well, let's give him a Niddy next year, maybe. The campaign starts now.
This is his second nomination for a Niddy, is it not?
This is, yeah, he's one of the few actors who's had 2 Niddy nominations now because he was nominated last year for Conclave.
Jake, any other thoughts on our very close to what's probably going to be the Oscar nominations with the exception?
Very close. Well, the nominations are out, so we know the 5 who made it. Right. But I like, there was a lot of great performances in this category this year. I mean, yeah, you got Del Toro and Penn from the same movie. I mean, Sinners had multiple candidates. Delroy Lindo didn't make it into ours. He made it into the Oscar lineup. Everybody, really loved him in that movie. Stellan Skarsgård, I like that Sentimental Value made its way in here. I really liked that movie a lot, but again, seems like one that not a lot of people saw or, just didn't attach to, but I quite liked it.
I did too. And I think we picked the right, not we as a whole body picked the right supporting actor from Sinners, where I understand why Delroy Lindo got nominated. I think he's had a great career, and I know the Oscars loves that. They have this whole thing where they nominate old men and young women. That makes sense. But Miles Catton is a much more important part of this movie, and Lindo is very funny, but extremely supporting, whereas Catton's role is, you could even make an argument that he's a lead in the movie. He's very much the main character. I know.
I think he'd be second after Michael, after Michael B. Jordan's character. I mean, he's the end of the movie, it ends with him.
It also only begins with Miles Catton's character. So, right. And in what I thought was the scariest part of the movie, because I didn't know what was happening yet.
It's a great beginning. It's just a great movie. We'll be talking about Sinners a lot.
It gets nominated for a lot.
It's nominated in a bunch of categories. Yeah.
Should we do an Upper Echelon Award?
Yeah, let's do one of those. Yeah.
So we have our own version of the Lifetime Achievement Award called the Upper Echelon Award. And this is an award that nobody votes on except Jake and I. Jake gets one and I get one. And I this year claimed the Best Director Upper Echelon Award. This is not an award for the best movie, although I do think one of the people I'm about to honor made the best movie this year, and the other one made one of the best movies this year, but really more of like an overarching, wow, what a great year as a whole you had. So I had a tie between Richard Linklater and Steven Soderbergh, who both put out 2 big movies this year by modern indie movie standards. Steven Soderbergh put out Presence back in January and then Black Bag in the spring. And Black Bag was my favorite movie of 2025. Spoiler alert for an upcoming episode. And Richard Linklater did Blue Moon, which played in theaters, and I thought was just unbelievable, and Nouvelle Vague, which is really fun if you're interested in movie history, and probably really inaccessible if you're not. But I just love that these 2 guys who are like indie darlings from the 90s are now just like so prolific, constantly pumping out whatever weird projects they want. Presence is like a very small ghost story, not a horror movie, ghost story. Black Bag is a very, I think, sexy, fun spy thriller that I wish there were 100 more of every year. Blue Moon is just such a showcase for Ethan Hawke. And if you're a musical theater fan, it's like Endgame for musical theater fans, people just popping up in cameos. And then he does the same for the French New Wave with Nouvelle Vague. Yeah, they get the Upper Echelon Award. And Soderbergh has another movie coming out in like 2 months that he made at the same time, starring Ian McKellen. I forget what it's called.
Those 2 winners, I love those guys, and I've seen all 4 of those movies, which I'm going to have some gaps later, but I have seen all 4 of those, and I liked all of them.
Yeah, me too. I like all 4 of those movies a lot. Blue Moon, Nouvelle Vague was one that I've actually liked more as I've thought about it. Like at first, it does seem like, it's a little niche and a little inaccessible, and it is those things. And I don't even like the movie that it's based on that much. Like we covered Breathless on the podcast. Jeff, you were there for that. And, so I don't even love Breathless that much, but like this making of Breathless just had such like a cool vibe and energy to it that, yeah, I really liked that one. And, Ethan Hawke is amazing in Blue Moon. I love, seeing him in that. Bobby Cannavale is in that. I love him too. And then the Soderbergh movies I liked a great deal too. Presence was just really interesting, different type of movie. And Black Bag is just so proficient and so precise. I really liked everything about all those movies.
Yeah, I think all 4 of them benefit greatly from a second watch, too. They're all very rewatchable, and you get much more out of them the second time around.
Let's do the best documentary that we talked about. This is a category that, as it turns out, was voted on by me and me. So this is the Jake Ziegler Documentary Award for the 5 best documentaries. Now, there's a lot that I haven't seen yet this year. Documentaries sometimes can be, tough to see. They play at festivals, and they get a lot of buzz, and they don't always come out in places we can see them. But I do think the 5 that I have chosen are very strong, and I'm happy to have them on there. The first is HBO's The Alabama Solution, an infuriating, just mind-blowing documentary about a prison in Alabama that had gone on strike and what led to their strike and everything about it. It's just the fact that it took place in America is, like I said, just horrifying. Number 2 is Come See Me in the Good Light, which is a very wonderful film about a poet dying of cancer. And, this is just a tribute to her work and her life. Very moving.
That sounds a lot like The Eternal Breasts, Forever a Woman.
Oh, yeah, it is a little bit like that. Yeah, I like that movie. Another nominee I have is a film called Mr. Nobody Against Putin, which is a film I saw just recently and kind of, again, blew me away a little bit. It's about a teacher in a small Russian town who basically smuggles footage of the indoctrination propaganda that the kids are being fed at the school that he works at. He happens to be the school videographer, and he videos all their events. He realized, he goes, this is a good cover for me. I can just record everything, and he smuggles this footage out to a Danish producer who helps him get the movie made. I mean, the guy basically risked his life to get this footage out and to get this made. It's such an indictment of how much I hate social media and like film journalism online, where somebody said about this movie, again, after this guy risked his life to get this footage out there, somebody said, well, this was all probably happening before 2022, so I'm not sure he checked his privilege enough before doing that. And I had to get up and walk away. I was so mad. Like that's your takeaway from this movie. So online journalism is dead.
I don't even understand the complaint.
Well, because he didn't complain about it sooner.
Hey.
Yeah.
Everyone has to be perfect and make the right decisions right away. All the people who were anti-slavery during the abolition of slavery felt that way from the beginning. All of them.
And Green Day didn't do enough, to take down the government at the Super Bowl either. I mean, I'm just so disappointed in them. They're supposed to be punk.
All right, what else got nominated?
Anyway, the 4th is another film centering on Russia called My Undesirable Friends, Part 1, Last Air in Moscow. I don't know why this is a Part 1, because it's actually a 5-part documentary. It's about 5.5 hours long, and it's segmented pretty well, but it's about journalists in Russia and how difficult their job is, and how much pressure and danger that they are in at all times. So again, 5.5 hours. It took a couple of sittings to get through it, but it's very interesting, it's compelling, and it ends very strong. And then the 5th nominee is a Netflix documentary called The Perfect Neighbor, which is assembled from security footage and cell phone footage of a woman in her neighborhood who was murdered, down south, and the police investigation that became of that. Also, against another very infuriating movie, but an important one to have seen. So, of these 5, my winner choice is The Alabama Solution. It's such a well put together movie. It's another one of these prison films. There was a documentary last year called Daughters about prisoners who were getting to have a daddy-daughter dance with their daughters, and they never tell you what the prisoners are in for. Like, that's not part of the movie. Regardless of what they're in for, they are human beings, and the way they get treated in The Alabama Solution, like I said, is just grotesque.
So this is the problem with documentaries these days, especially the ones that get Oscar attention, is they're all depressing. So I'd like to just mention the 5 documentaries that I watched this year. There were exactly 5, and they're probably not all as good as the ones that you talked about, but actually there were 6. But one is called Paper Cuts, which is a cutout paper animation movie, kind of like how South Park started, about the director Eric Power. It's an autobiography. He makes the movies in that style. Ai Weiwei's Turandot, a neat movie about Ai Weiwei making the opera Turandot. It's okay. Are We Good? The Mark Maron documentary about COVID and his losing his girlfriend, Lynn Shelton, who we talked about in our season 3 series. Interesting, and I'm a big Maron fan. The SNL 50 Years of Music documentary, Ladies and Gentlemen, directed by Questlove and Oz Rodriguez. And then WTO 99, which was directed by Ian Bell and produced by my friend Alex Megaro. So I'm very biased, but I think that's the best documentary of the year.
I didn't see a lot of docs this year, but I did see that SNL music doc, which was really good. I forgot totally about that. I'll shout out a movie that is not likely to be of any awards contention whatsoever. It's a celebrity making a movie about themselves and their celebrity mother. Mariska Hargitay made a documentary about her mom, Jane Mansfield, that was really quite well done. And I thought, and because I'm interested in film history, I thought it was really good. So I think it was called My Mom, Jane. So let's do Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Odessa Azion, Marty Supreme. Glenn Close, Wake Up Dead Man. Amy Madigan, Weapons. Wunmi Mosaku, Sinners. And Teyana Taylor, One Battle After Another. 5 really good ones here. And the winner, I find quite shocking, though I loved this performance, Amy Madigan, Weapons, winning Best Supporting Actress.
Is she not the favorite to win the Oscar?
Jake, is that true?
Really, I think it's between her and Teyana Taylor. I think have the most buzz for winning that. I don't see either of the Sentimental Value ladies winning it. They have 2 nominees on the official Oscars, but yeah, I would think it's between Amy Madigan and Teyana Taylor.
Teyana Taylor is the heavy favorite according to Kalshi right now, but Amy Madigan is number 2.
All right. I mean, I guess I thought Teyana Taylor was the favorite, but I didn't realize Amy Madigan had a chance.
Who's the 5th? There's 2 Sentimental Value ladies, and then Wunmi Mosaku is nominated.
Yeah, I liked all of these performances. Amy Madigan, I watched this movie while on the phone with my sister, who told me to watch this movie. It's 2026. I was texting back and forth with her, and every time Amy Madigan showed up on screen before her big reveal as like where we actually got to spend time with her, I kept saying, "Oh, fuck you! Why did you tell me to watch this movie? I hate it."
My kid actually saw this movie. She's 13. She saw this movie before me, and she's like, "It's pretty good, Dad." Like, yeah. And then I saw it, like, yeah, it is pretty good. But yeah, this is another strong category. I thought there was a lot of very good candidates for this. We had a couple other votes for, I know Jodie Comer from 28 Years Later got a couple of votes. We had Regina Hall got a couple of notices for One Battle After Another. One of my favorite performances that couldn't make it in is in a film called Hedda, which you can stream on Prime Video, starring Tessa Thompson and Nina Hoss. And they're both very, very good, but Nina Hoss is just incredible.
I think the only person I wanted to see in that didn't get, well, there were a few. There was the entire cast, the female cast of No Other Choice. There was the little girl from, although she was kind of a lead in Left-Handed Girl, I forget her name. She was excellent. We talk a decent amount about the risk you take with child actors, and she was incredible. And then I also tried to get Marissa Abella in for Black Bag because she was so fun and sexy in that movie. And I also really like the show Industry. That's the way the cookie crumbles, though. I think we had a good but very Oscar-y group here, too.
You know who I really liked, who doesn't get a lot of attention? Gwyneth Paltrow was really good in Marty Supreme. I know it's hard not to be overshadowed by the rest of the cast in that movie, who are doing such big things throughout the entire movie, but I think it's probably the best performance she's had in quite some time.
This is another issue where the attention, because of the influence of the Oscars on movie fans, old men, young women, and not the other way around. So Gwyneth Paltrow gets left behind. I agree. She was wonderful. That movie rocks.
Yeah, I agree.
So in whatever year Marcel the Shell Shoes On came out, I got a bee in my bonnet because... not that this would have ever happened, but I remember thinking this would be the year to at least recognize or pay lip service in some way to the fact that voice actors in animated films are doing amazing work, including the emotionally devastating work that Isabella Rossellini did in Marcel the Shell with Shoes On as Grandma Conch. But that's one of my favorite movies ever, and she's amazing in it. So I now have the pleasure of introducing the Isabella Rossellini Award for Best Voice Performance in a Film where the actor is not seen on screen. And the nominees are Chen Ziping in Nobody, Pete Davidson in Dogman, Natalie Portman and Mark Ruffalo in Arco, Kiwei Kwan in Zootopia 2, and Sam Rockwell in The Bad Guys 2. And the winner is Natalie Portman and Mark Ruffalo in Arco. And I will explain, although I think I've explained on the show before, that in Arco, Natalie Portman and Mark Ruffalo play the parents of the main character who are never seen on screen. And so they are also in unison the voice of the caretaker robot who is a main character in the movie. And I just thought that was so cool as a conceit that I brute forced it into the winning slot of this category, even though Jake also voted on this category and yet has not seen this movie.
But I really want to, and I've been really excited to get to it when I do have a chance.
Yeah. We mentioned this was a bit of a weaker year for animated movies. It was especially a weaker year for voice acting standout performances. We had some cool other people in here. I brought up a couple of people from the Chinese movie Nobody. We didn't have anyone from Neja, the English dub because I hadn't seen it, or the Chinese dub because Jake hadn't seen it.
I did put Michelle Yeoh up for it because she's the mother in that, but yeah, you haven't seen that one.
And also, I didn't like the idea that she was the voice actress for that character because they just did it because she's a bankable star, but she's way too old for the role. It reminded me of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny when they de-aged him but didn't de-age his voice. I forget the actor's name, but the guy who plays Helix and Elio is very funny. And there's Anthony Ramos in Bad Guys 2 was also very good. We had more people we were thinking about than I thought we would, but nothing like the voice cast of The Wild Robot, which last year would have like run the table on this category.
Absolutely.
I love the category. I obviously didn't see any of those films, so great idea for a category. And I'm going to, I was just looking through my list. I'm going to shout out. I found a way to shout something out. I'm going to shout out Will Patton from Train Dreams. It's appropriate for me to, shout out a narration also on this podcast. Yeah. So that's my shout out.
Question, because we talk about this. Oh, well, I don't know when we're going to air this, but we talk about this in our 1990s Ladies Wow episode. Would Holly Hunter's narration count? Because the character never actually speaks except when she narrates the beginning and the end of the movie as her own thoughts.
The piano. We're talking about the piano here, Jeff.
The piano, yeah.
Okay,
I should have mentioned that.
Oh, that's interesting. But she's still giving a performance.
She is, but she said that the category is called the Isabella Rossellini Award for Best Voiced Actor for a Character Not Seen on Screen. And the character not seen on screen clearly says at the beginning of the movie, this is not my speaking voice. This is my thought voice. So the character is Holly Hunter's thoughts. It's not Holly Hunter in the movie.
Yeah, we've gone deep again.
Like Scarlett Johansson, for her, would have been a great, if we were doing 100%. This 12 years ago, that would have been good. I didn't think about that. I was mostly thinking of animated, but yeah, it's like, wow, I'm kind of upset I didn't think of Will Patton now, because I love Train Dreams also. I think all three of us did.
It's the rare narration that I enjoyed, mostly because he has the most milky voice.
Yes.
Let's do best first feature. This is another award that Brad and I took it upon ourselves to determine the nominees and the winner for. As well, this is going to go to the director of the film. The nominees are Sarah Friedland in Familiar Touch. Very stoked that we got that movie in. Julian Glander for Boys Go to Jupiter. Tracy Lehman, Bob Trevino Likes It. Shui Yu for Nobody. And Ava Victor for Sorry Baby. And the winner of this is the 4-time Niddy nominee, Ava Victor, for her directorial debut, Sorry Baby, which is so funny and so unique and just so moving and interesting and well acted. Naomi Ackie is great in this as well. It's not like, it's hard to compare it to other things. I really enjoyed it. Julia Roberts even shouted out at the Golden Globes, like specifically went out of her way to, say like, if you haven't seen this movie, you should see this movie, like shout out Ava Victor by name.
You also have, I have to shout out Kelly McCormick, who I first found as funny in the show Shoresy, or actually it was probably Letterkenny that she showed up in. And she's great in this as the closest thing to like a foil. The bad guy is obvious, but there's a foil for Ava Victor's character. And she's so funny and like so on a different wavelength than everyone else in the movie. But I think this is really well deserved. And I liked every movie on this list. I'm glad we got to do this because Bob Trevino Likes It is great and like such a tearjerker. More people should see it. I already talked about Nobody. Julian Glander's Boys Go to Jupiter was a movie that I'd been dying to see for like 2 years. And then it finally came out and I thought it was quite good. We talked about it on our animation Oscar episode. Alternative Oscar what episode did we talk about it on?
I think it was the animation, the alternate universe animation. Yeah.
And then Familiar Touch is very sweet and features H. John Benjamin in a performance that you've never seen him do anything like that. It's amazing. And I tried to get him a spot for Best Supporting Actor, but not a lot of people have seen Familiar Touch.
I think you and I are the only ones of our voting body that had seen it.
Love the category also. I really like Sorry Baby, and I will shout out John Carroll Lynch, who I think I voted for Best Supporting Actor on my ballot. So, or just, tried to nominate him. Because his scene is very short, but he's terrific in that.
Love someone who comes in for one scene and is so memorable. And that's great because, John Carroll Lynch, very imposing. He's the more or less the bad guy in Zodiac. He can be a scary dude. And he just is so disarming. The character versus, how he's also like very Massachusetts or very Northeastern. And then just like such a sweetheart. I loved it.
Yeah, he can do, I think I said in my Letterboxd review, he can do more in one scene than a lot of actors can do in a whole movie.
So we're going to jump to screenplay.
Yeah, real quick before you start. Tried last year dividing this between original and adapted. And fair enough, because it is confusing. People didn't know what was what. So we were like, screw it. It doesn't actually matter that much. Did you like the way a movie sounded or not? Did you like the way a movie flowed or not? Best screenplay.
I think that makes sense too, because sometimes it's very convoluted anyway. Like for the real, I say the real Oscars, these are real nitties, but even the rules for the adapted original are very confusing for the Oscars. So
it's very annoying that like if you do a sequel, it's automatically adapted, even though like you might have made everything up from whole cloth except the characters that you may have invented for the first movie.
Exactly. Yeah. It's convoluted. So the Niddy for Best Screenplay, the nominees: Bugonia, Marty Supreme, No Other Choice, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sinners, Sorry Baby, Twinless, Wake Up Dead Man, and Weapons. 10 nominees. The winner is Sinners. Best Screenplay winner.
I think that's going to be the way the Oscar goes, too, for original screenplay. I definitely think Ryan Coogler is going to get that one. It seems Paul Thomas Anderson's certainly winning Best Director, so I think this is Ryan Coogler's best shot at taking the Oscar. And yeah, great slate of 10 nominees that we had here. I love this screenplay for Sinners. I probably wouldn't have voted for this. My vote would have gone somewhere else. But, I mean, again, all 10 of these are really well written and really interesting movies.
Yeah, my vote went to a movie that did not even get nominated because I really tried to get Black Bag in here. This is where I thought it absolutely belonged. Didn't happen. But yeah, Blue Moon also, I think I probably gave number one because what a script. Ethan Hawke just firing off. I have no complaints about Sinners. I had a very cool viewing experience. I saw Sinners opening weekend in IMAX at like the most famous theater in New York City, the Lincoln Square IMAX, in a packed house with like very, very enthusiastic people all around me, myself included. The scene in particular with Miles Catton and Michael B. Jordan in the car as Miles Catton's like noodling on his guitar while Michael B. Jordan Part 2 is off trying to secure supplies for the party. It's just like an amazingly written scene. As is the mid-credit scene, which really should have just been part of the movie.
Yeah, agree with that.
I can't remember what I voted for, but I would, just because you said it popped in my head. I love Blue Moon, and I thought it was, all about Ethan Hawke and the screenplay. So I hadn't seen that when I actually voted on these, but now I've seen it, and I really probably nominated that quite high. So
well, that would have been nice. The one movie that did get nominated that I just want to shout out that didn't win is Twinless, because that is a movie with some twists and turns, and I think they're really well handled. Even if you kind of like figure out what's going on ahead of time, it's like sort of the point, because it's about these characters, especially one of the main characters played by James Sweeney, and then just gives Dylan O'Brien, who was just great in Send Help, gives him a lot to do with two different characters. So just shout out to Twinless. Then speaking of Twinless and James Sweeney, I'll do Best Breakout Star. This category is a little harder to pin down, but through our own judgment, we decided who had the best breakout performance. This doesn't mean it was their first movie, but it was probably their first big movie. Although in one case, it was their first movie. So in two cases, it was their first movie. Miles Catton in Sinners, Chase Infinity in One Battle After Another, the aforementioned James Sweeney in Twinless, Eva Victor in Sorry Baby, and little Alfie Williams in 28 Years Later. And the winner is the Niddies juggernaut, Ava Victor in Sorry Baby. Yeah, I think really established herself. Probably not as much as I think Miles Catton's going to show up in probably more stuff going forward than Eva Victor. But as the writer, director, and star of the movie, I think Eva Victor has secured herself in indie comedy work for the rest of her life, or as long as movies continue to exist.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I thought she was really... I don't know that I'd seen her before, but I liked the movie, but I loved her performance. I mean, I feel like that was the strong suit for me from the film, was just her performance. She was terrific. And I also love you putting Alfie Williams on here. Because partly kind of like with the Ralph Fiennes discussion. I mean, I've seen the Bone Temple, so just the body of work between the two films. I mean, he's so good in those movies. It's amazing how good he is.
And it's a very different performance in Bone Temple, I think, from him than it is in 28 Years Later, because he's in a much different situation than he was. Yeah. Oh man, Bone Temple's so good.
Yeah. I'm so mad I missed it. It literally played in town for like 2 weeks, and I just didn't have a good chance to go see it, and I'm so irritated. But I like this category a lot too. I think, in the case of Chase Infinity, she's basically a lead in this movie along with like DiCaprio and Sean Penn and Benicio del Toro, all these like heavyweight actors, and she just crushed this movie. She was really, really great in it. So strong category of 5 here. Well done, Brad and Jake. So now actually we have the 4 big ones are left, and then we also have I haven't given out my upper echelon award yet. So before we get to the 4 biggies, I'll do my upper echelon award. I chose to give this to an actor this year, an actor who gave out always gives out great performances, and this year gave four released films that had very unique and impactful performances, and that is Josh O'Connor. First was The History of Sound, along with Paul Mescal, and Rebuilding the Mastermind by Kelly Reichardt, which I just saw the other night and really, really enjoyed. And then Wake Up Dead Man, which is, spoiler, one of our Best Picture nominees, and had a couple of other nitty nominations as well. So Josh O'Connor, he's in all four of those movies. He's fantastic in all of them. They're very different. Watching him, I said this to Brad the other night, watching him, and especially him with Paul Mescal in The History of Sound, it's like it has to be like how film people felt watching like Harvey Keitel and De Niro and Al Pacino and stuff in their early days, where like you're watching these guys and like these guys are just on another level. And I feel that way about Josh O'Connor for sure. I mean, the different things that he does in those movies, and then you look at some of the other movies he's made, like Challengers and Emma, which I know Brad likes to point out was kind of the breakout for Josh O'Connor. I mean, he's just in any kind of different movie. I mean, you can place him into anything and he fits right in. It's incredible.
Yeah, I don't want to like stolen valor for Emma, but like because Challengers was where people fully got on the Josh O'Connor train, but I saw him in Emma was like, and also The Crown. He was very big on The Crown. But
yeah, my wife knows him from that. Yeah.
But I saw him in Emma, which I believe predates all of that. So, and Emma was, as I've said a million times, one of my first dates with my wife, the first movie I ever saw with her. So very special for me.
Well, I loved Challengers, and that was, I think, the first, I did see Emma, but the first time I remember noticing Josh O'Connor is Challengers, which I love. And for these movies, I want to see all these. I've already seen Wake Up Dead Man, but the other ones I'm well aware of and can't wait to see.
The Mastermind is wild. Never has anyone been so funny while really doing so little. In true like Kelly Reichardt form, Josh O'Connor was made. He can do anything. He can literally do anything. Like, yeah, Wake Up Dead Man, he carries the movie. To me, it's like a far third in that series, but everything I liked was pretty much because of him. I've never seen him do anything that I was like, meh. I've always been really impressed.
Congratulations, Josh. So I'm going to go to Best Actress in a Leading Role. Nominees are Jessie Buckley in Hamnet, Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Chase Infinity, One Battle After Another, Emma Stone, Begonia, and Eva Victor, Sorry Baby. The winner is Rose Byrne. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. It's kind of funny I chose to announce this one because in this category I have seen 4 of the nominees and I have not seen If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. So congratulations, Rose Byrne, but I have not seen the performance. I've seen clips. It looks amazing. And,
it's newly available on streaming, so you can check it out for free. I guess if you have the right, I think it's HBO Max.
Yeah, I did see it.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that Rose Byrne won this because she is a distant second place in the betting odds. Jessie Buckley is running away with this category.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think it's cool. Everyone I've talked to that has seen If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You raves about it. And everyone I've talked to who has seen Hamnet was 50-50. So half the people I've talked to really liked it, and half the people I've talked to think it is very whatever. Everyone loves Jessie Buckley in it, but I think it's very cool that Rose Byrne snagged the Niddy. And I like every performance here, and I'm a big Emma Stone fan, so I would have been pretty stoked if she'd won. But we've widely celebrated Emma Stone on this podcast, so good for Rose Byrne.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll continue to do so. So am I the only one of the 3 who've seen If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You? And it is fantastic. I think both of you guys would like it. Very Safdie Brothers-esque. Josh produced it also, which it made sense. Like I was thinking like, oh, this is very Safdie Brothers-ish before I knew he was one of the producers, but it's very stressful, but it's stressful in a different kind of way than like Marty Supreme. Marty Supreme is just so frenetic and fast-paced, and this is a little bit different. But yeah, Rose Byrne is amazing in it. It's just a really cool movie. ASAP Rocky has a really cool part in it too.
It's ASAP Rocky.
Is it ASAP Rocky? Damn, I'm not cool. Yeah.
I didn't know that either. So.
Okay, but anyway, he's great in the movie. And I think both of you guys would really like it. I know it's probably on your radar.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still laughing at us, Brad?
I'm just living in this moment.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do Best Actor, and then Jake, why don't you do the last 2 since Niddies are your baby. Best Actor in a Leading Role. We've got Timothée Chalamet in Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio in One Battle After Another, Joel Edgerton in Train Dreams, Michael B. Jordan in Sinners, and the real dark horse, Jesse Plemons from Begonia. But the winner, and honestly, I think this is cool because if it wasn't going to be Dylan O'Brien winning for playing twins in Twinless, it should be Michael B. Jordan for playing twins in Sinners. So Michael B. Jordan is our winner twice over. Yeah, incredible. As Stack and Smoke, two very distinct characters, two very cool characters who are both under a lot of stress. Well, we've sung the praises of Sinners already, a fantastic movie, really held together by Michael B. Jordan doing a couple of quite flashy performances.
Yeah, this is a DiCaprio Scorsese or De Niro Scorsese type of partnership, I think, between Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. I think we're going to see them, not every movie, obviously, but I think we're going to see them work together a lot in the future. And so far, it's been a very good partnership. With the Fruitvale Station is excellent, and that's one of the great debut films, I think. And then they did Creed together and Black Panther together, and they've done this together. So it's not only been critically successful, but commercially successful too. I mean, it's really kind of astonishing what those two have done together in just a short time.
I'm certain that I voted for Chalamet on this one because I just thought he was incredible and really is in almost every scene of that movie, which is just a wild ride. So one of my favorite movies of the year, Marty Supreme. I love that. But what I do want to shout out real quick is a movie that I really liked. It's not probably top 5 for me, but it's a movie that nobody seems to remember or want to talk about, which is The Phoenician Scheme. And I thought, I really like Wes Anderson. I like that he keeps making his movies that are like nobody else's movies. And I thought this was a really good Wes Anderson movie. And Benicio del Toro is just drives the movie, and he's terrific. And so if I had my way, he'd be up for Best Actor for The Phoenician Scheme and Best Supporting Actor for One Battle After Another.
I would like to respond to both of those things. When we were watching Marty Supreme, and I am a big Timothée Chalamet fan, but I'm not part of Club Chalamet. As we were watching Marty Supreme, I leaned over to my wife and said, I've never seen anyone do anything like this. He was so fully in it. I'm fairly certain he went method by doing coke. I mean, they said sugar, but booger sugar. He is on one in Marty Supreme. It's the scene that gets me is when he's giving the interview to the press right before we hear the Holocaust story by Geza Rohrig. That scene right before he sees Gwyneth Paltrow, or as he sees Gwyneth Paltrow for the first time, is I think in a long time, the most I've seen someone fully immersed in a character. It was incredible. I fully believe that was someone else. And then The Phoenician Scheme, I also loved it. And if I was going to nominate anyone for the movie, it would be Michael Cera for Best Supporting Actor. Because
good call.
He's so unbelievably funny. Jeff, but to talk about Wes Anderson movies, we'd have to take it offline because Jake hates them.
I know
that's not entirely true.
Well,
I liked Phoenician Scheme, just not as much as either of you, but I liked Phoenician Scheme.
Okay.
That's a relief. Okay, good.
The two that I want to shout out who were the next two in line to get nominated, but just couldn't quite get there. We've mentioned Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon before. He was number 6 in our nomination slate. It's a bummer he didn't make it in, but the 5 who did make it in, I mean, I know Jesse Plemons didn't make Oscar, but man, he's so good in Begonia. I mean, all 5 of those performances are great. So, but Ethan Hawke was close, and then our next one down, who I was trying to push for, Wagner Moura from The Secret Agent, who won the Golden Globe, but I think that's, just a lot of people haven't seen that one yet. But you talk about people playing more than one role. He plays 3 in this movie, and he's phenomenal in all of them. I mean, it's really, really a cool movie.
Is that a spoiler, or is it that he's undercover as 2 other people?
It's not a spoiler. I mean, no, it's not a spoiler.
All right, Jake, give us Best Director.
Yes, Best Director. We're down to the last 2 categories here. Again, this is a male-centric category. We did have a couple of votes for female directors, but it ended up being, like I said, a category of all males this year. So our nominees for Best Director, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler for Sinners, Zach Cregger for Weapons, Park Chan-wook for No Other Choice, and Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme. And the winner is Ryan Coogler, Best Director 2025. Congratulations, Ryan Coogler and Sinners.
Yeah, so it wasn't even close. This is the only category where we did not have to do ranked choice voting because Ryan Coogler won the majority of the votes, of the first place votes. My vote would have been for Park Chan-wook. I just think No Other Choice is, he just directed the shit. It's definitely most directing for Park Chan-wook. And also just as a bee in my bonnet kind of situations. I know it's the second time I've used that phrase because the Academy hates him, just does not respect Park Chan-wook at all. And the industry, Hollywood, seems to be very mad at him because he played a little bit fast and loose during the writer's strike. I don't care about that. I'm not in the industry. I couldn't give less of a shit. I think his movies are incredible. And the fact that he just does not get recognized, even though people actually see his movies. A lot of these neon distributed foreign movies get no one in the theater. And people went and saw No Other Choice in the theater. The movie fucking rips.
It absolutely does, yeah. Jeff, did you get a chance to see it?
I can't wait to see it, but just from the other Park Chan-wook movies, I've seen Brad saying that he directs harder or, than anyone. I mean, that just rings true. I mean, it's just, I haven't even seen it, and I would go along with someone saying he should win this award because nobody directs harder than he does. So
yeah. So, and the thing that he got in trouble for was his TV show. It wasn't even for the goddamn movie. And the TV show, he's done a couple, but the one that he did with Robert Downey Jr., and that's not as good. I don't like his TV work as much as I like his film work. All the nominees are good, and I'm not surprised Coogler won, because if for no other reason, Coogler deserves it for the music scene, the traveling through time. That's incredible. That's like nothing else you'll ever see in any movie. So well done. And yeah, like you said, congratulations, because wild stuff.
And it was not particularly competitive even in the nomination slate too. The next two down we had were Linklater for Blue Moon and then Yorgos Lanthimos for Begonia were like our next two choices on there. So, those top five are very strong. And again, I think Hamnet, Chloe Zhao, I know got a lot of notice this year and the Academy Award nomination. But again, I think either a lot of people A, didn't see it, or B, there was a 50-50 thing. For the record, I love it. I thought it was fantastic. It's not my top. I think it's just outside of my top 10. I think it's like 11 or 12. So it's very, very good. But those were some of the ones who didn't make it in. Let's do Best Picture. We had a tie in the voting this year for the nominees. So that resulted in an 11 nominee slate. Last year we had 12. So maybe next year we'll bump it down to the official 10. The top 11 films, according to the Niddy voters of 2025: Blue Moon, Begonia, Marty Supreme, No Other Choice, On Becoming a Guinea Fowl, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sinners, Train Dreams, Wake Up Dead Man, and Weapons. And the winner should come as no surprise after everything that's happened on this show so far. The winner for Best Picture of the second annual Niddy is Ryan Coogler's Sinners. Sinners becomes the biggest winner in Niddy history. It won 4 of the awards this year. It had 7 total nominations. One Battle After Another was the most nominated film with 10. It only ended up taking 1 of our awards. The only movie actually that won, besides Sinners, that won more than 1 award was Sorry Baby. I think I mentioned this before, but all 4 of the nominations for Sorry Baby went to Ava Victor for either starring, writing, or directing the films. So it's an interesting slate of nominees this year.
What movie did Sinners beat for most nominations, for most wins? Yeah, while Jake's looking for the answer to that question, I just want to shout out, thank you to Jonathan Bernstein, someone in our in the Never Did It Academy, for nominating On Becoming a Guinea Fowl. And I definitely wouldn't say stumping for it, because we don't have stumping in Niddy voting, but getting it in the conversation. I think it's crazy that this movie got nominated. I haven't seen it. I hear it's great, but it got nominated over Hamnet,
Avatar, Bob Trevino, If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Sorry Baby, which obviously got a lot of other Niddy love, couldn't make it into our Best Picture. So, but I liked the movie. I saw this movie as well. I didn't put it in my top 10, but I did see the movie, and it was nominated for the Best International Film at the Spirit Awards this year. And I'm a Spirit voter as well, so it was one of the films there. And yeah, it's excellent. The lead performance is quite good. Again, I think you guys would both like it.
What was the movie that Sinners beat?
Well, I lied. It actually tied the winner. I forgot that Anora won 4 last year as well.
And Sinners had more categories with which to catch up.
Yes. Because Anora was only up for 5. Well, we also had less awards last year, too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. It's still the champion along with Sinners for the most nominations.
All right, cool. Anything else you want to say about the Niddies before we say au revoir until next year?
This was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me back.
Voters, thank you all so much for participating in this. This is, I'm not even exaggerating when I say it's one of the most fun things I do all year long. I've been, an Oscar and awards enthusiast for a long time, and to just kind of be in a place where I can facilitate, another round of awards thing it's so much fun for me. So everybody who's been on the show, I appreciate you so much. Love your input. The more of you we get, the more interesting nominations we're going to get. So as we keep adding guests, our voting pool is going to keep getting bigger and bigger, I hope. And, next year, I'm already looking forward to it.
Megan Fisher, Jake's wife, Vivi Ziegler, Ryan Verrill from Disconnected, Brandon Treadway, who you can find on TikTok, Jesse Jackson from Set Lusting Bruce, Jeff Richardson.
Jeff, yeah.
Thank you, Jeff, our esteemed co-host, Trip Burton from A Trip Through Comedy podcast, Mike Tanzillo, please follow him on Substack, Riley Trahan from the Nerd to Hear First podcast, Kevin Ford, my co-host on the Flooping the Pig podcast, Marin, who you can find at Marin Movie Mom on TikTok, Jonathan Bernstein, my friend and neighbor, who, if you're ever in Jersey City, please attend one of his movie screenings at the Art House in Jersey City. We've got The Sting coming up. That'll be a lot of fun. Andrea Levine and Danielle Siegel also. Thank you both. What a great crop of people we have. Expanded this year, and we'll expand again next year.